Warriors trail it by 2 at halftime, and we're pleased to be joined by Wayne State Athletic Director Rob Fournier, and a lot happening around here, as there always is, Rob. And we're going to get to one of the big things in a second, but first of all, academics. You guys, you've been stressing academics since you've been here, and it's always been a big deal, but you had kind of a record year, didn't you?
Yeah, this was, we had the bar pretty high. This took it a little bit higher, so overall GPA for all the student athletes of 3.25, 14 of 17 teams had cumulative team GPAs above a 3, and then the 3 teams that were less than a 3, the lowest one was 2.95. So pretty much just about every team has a GPA above a 3. And, amazingly, 73.18, that might be a little too precise, but 73.18 of the student athletes had a GPA above a 3. So with nearly 400 student athletes, that's doing pretty good.
It's got to be gratifying for you, because I know you stress it to your coaches to have them stress it to their athletes, and they do that while still winning and being competitive.
Well, I think, it's the old Dick Vitale line. The other guys have scholarships too. So, competitive athletics is meant to be competitive, and you're going to have good years and maybe some years that aren't as good as others. But consistently, you can do well academically and our community service. I mean, 12,354 hours of community service by our student athletes donated back in the community. I mean, there's nobody in the country even close to that. And, it's not something that we just discovered recently. It's kind of the trendy thing. We're gonna do community service. We've been doing community service for 16 years. So it's just part of the fabric of what's expected of our student athletes. And when you throw that into our graduation rate, our graduation rate is 76%. That's 217% higher than the comparable full-time campus population. So kids are doing well in school, they're graduating, and they're giving back. And I think those are some lifelong lessons there that extend beyond the competitive field.
And it's an exciting time to be a part of Wayne State Athletics. You've got a pretty big year coming up, the 100th year of athletics at this university.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, I have not been here for all 100.
I want to get that. I was giving bad information.
Yeah, I want to get that out there on the record. But yeah, the university is coming up on their 150th year, and 50 years into it, they said, hey, one of the things that would really unify the campus and provide a sense of community would be to add athletics. So, athletics in those 100 years has had an ebb and flow here, and obviously there were some great times, and there were some times that there were some struggles, but we're really proud of a century of athletic accomplishments, and we're going to take a whole year to highlight that. And certainly, I hope our fans and our alums come back and be a part of that and see, maybe some of the changes that have happened.
Let's talk about some of the things that you're going to do to honor those great Warriors and great Tartars of the past.
Well, one of the things we're going to do is we're actually going back and interviewing a lot of those former letter winners, people that competed here back in the 30s and 40s. I mean, we'll have their reminiscence of what it was like back then, but also a way to showcase some of the things some of the changes we've made, which I think is important, but also, the sacrifices that those other people made. When you think about the fact that really women's athletics on an NCAA level got started here at Wayne State. It's Dasha Shilaroo who competed, in that first NCAA championship. That's one of the 25 defining moments of the NCAA. All of that is blended into our history, and those are the kind of things that we're going to highlight and tell that maybe a lot of people just aren't aware of.
We've talked during this season about, hey, the team that made the NCAA Division I Sweet 16, and you talked about, hey, you had guys that made the pros. You had several Globetrotters. You've had so many different people that, like you say, either we forgot about or just don't know about. This is a great opportunity to highlight that.
Yeah, and I think there was a time when people wanted to downplay athletics, and I think kind of that heyday in the 50s where you've got players that are playing in the NCAA Division I tournament. You're beating DePaul. You're in the Sweet 16. you're playing Adolph Rupp and the Kentucky Wildcats who win the national championship, and then those players are going on to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, that's not kids' game. Those are some really skilled athletes, and some of those people are still around. So a chance to bring them back and celebrate with them some of the accomplishments and some of the things we've done recently. Playing in a national championship game in football. I know a lot of people would have never thought they'd see that on this campus. So there's a lot of things that we're going to take advantage of.
I know you and I have talked about this before, but one of the things I always like you point out, when you first came here, you told the people that hired you that you understand, hey, there's a school in Ann Arbor and there's a school in Lansing, and you're going to see shirts with their logos on it, but what you wanted to see was Wayne State stuff being worn around here. And you go by that bookstore and you walk around this campus, you walk all over Midtown, and you see green and gold and you see that W everywhere.
Yeah, you don't, I got to tell you, when I first got here, I thought I had arrived in Ann Arbor. I saw so many of those shirts and they had the W upside down, and I was like, why can't we get this thing turned around? But I see it in merchandise sales. I see it in being on Comcast. I see it on our radio broadcast, that creates a sense of ownership for our alums. They're kind of like, oh my gosh, they're playing in the national championship game, or they're in the NCAA tournament. People feel good about that. People want to feel good about their institution. And as much as people don't want to admit it, athletics, wherever you are, is a rallying cry for that. And that's really what we've tried to do. And I think you see it now. I mean, if you see somebody walking around with a W on their sweatshirt upside down, they're just visiting here looking for directions.
Hey, Rob, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the first 100 years. And I think, we're going to celebrate those. Really, it's just the start of the second 100. Can't wait for next season to start.
Looking forward to it. And I want to mention April 3rd, we unveil the Harwell Museum. And I think that will be quite an event, certainly a highlight of some of the facilities we have here, and I think a great way to pay tribute to a legend in Detroit sports history.
Thank you, Rob. That's Athletic Director Rob Fournier, Athletic Director from Wayne State, Rob Fournier. Check out WSUathletics.com for more information on that April 3rd event and everything coming up for the celebration of the first 100 years of athletics here at Wayne State. We'll be right back on CN 900.